Good. Yep. Bing. All right. Let's see. Marker, time, music.
This is R. Morton Mon.
And I am Charles McFall, and we are all about bigger, badder, better, more.
Bigger, badder, better, more. We're here to help others be awesome.
And you've landed on the comedic motivational show,
Success Freaks. Welcome everyone to the #1 Get Out of the Box comedic motivational show, otherwise known as Success Freaks. Tonight's working titles is episode number 171, Box Trolls Parable. And today we're coming at you live from Cornelius, North Carolina, and the Bears Den in where? Conyers, Georgia. That's right, the new Bears Den studio, and chuckling in that Bears Den. The dark side of positive, the light of my life. Charles McFall.
I could be the black light. Maybe show you where all the glowing bits are. I don't know.
There you go.
So, as you may hear and as you may see, that the studio is still kind of sparse. It's a new setup. It's this whole coffee table discussion setup that I've been thinking about for a long time. Morton and I actually talked about this back in NMX of this year, maybe even, when we discussed wouldn't it be cool to have this setup, and then throughout the year I've been given this furniture, which is really, really nice. And so I know in my room itself, I'm not sure what's picking up on the microphone, but in my room itself, I'm echoing off the walls because I've only had a few days, really hours spread out over a few days to get the whole studio set up, and it's quite the rocket ship to set up, my friend. It's I did not know that my sound card, which controls all the great audio, was barely connected in my computer, and so I knocked something loose today, and it went nuts. So I had to spend a little bit of time figuring that out, but it's been interesting. I gotta tell you, dude. I forget what we're talking about exactly. We're talking about hiding yourself or stuff you learned from Box Trolls or whatever. It's gonna be interesting, but the moving when your world's upside down, it's hard to function. I've had a hard time, or increasingly more difficult time, over the last couple of days getting my brain to function correctly.
Right, Charles and I have been very busy. Charles, of course, in his move, and you know that's a big ordeal. Mine is just I've begun what we lovingly call our Hell Week at the festival, where we do the opening weekend, and then we have 3 days of student days. We get a day off, and then 3 days of student days, and then we get a day off, and then we have our another weekend. And actually, it was the second weekend. So I was like, oh yeah, no big deal. Then I'm like, well, I'm working Tuesday day, which is usually when we record. So we had to shuck and jive and go. So when can we do this thing? And
Yeah.
so I get back home from seeing a movie with some friends, and I was like, okay, perfect, we got plenty of time. And I go to set things up, and all of a sudden my internet's not working, everything's not working, my computer's going slow. I'm like, what is going on? Charles is being very, very patient. He goes, well, what do you want to talk about? And then my headset's not working. My Bluetooth on my computer has just gone away. Not that doesn't the devices are there, but the actual Bluetooth has gone away. So I had to find another way to be able to record everything, or to be able to listen into everything. And he's been really patient with me.
Mostly
All
'cause
that
I'm trying not to pass out, so it's like, what? Are you here? Are we what?
And we used to start recording at this time.
I know. Well, yes, we never did it after like 5 days of moving, man. It's been quite the physical ordeal each day. And I'm going back to work at the Omni tomorrow and the next day. And money is good, man. Money is great, and they're throwing money at me. But it's like, holy crap! How do you fit life in? Period. You know. So you're like, I don't know if I'm trying to get this done. I'm like, yeah, maybe we can just ask him to run a repeat on the radio. Just take a pass.
Again, we've never done it, and we finally
No.
did it once, and we're like, that was easy. Maybe we should start doing that a lot. Nah.
I know,
Nah,
right?
not us. So this is how current this is. Just today I saw this movie called The Box Trolls, and I was not really wanting to see this movie. But I didn't really like the way the animation was. I didn't see the storyline was. I'm like, really, the trailers did nothing for me. But my girlfriend wanted to go, and we were going with a bunch of. Thank you, Facebook, for those noises. I'm sure everybody's hearing. We went with a bunch of friends, and I'm like, I'll see the movie. I'll see the movie because. And I really liked it. There's actually a part in it towards the climax, and I'm warning, spoiler alert. I'm going to give you a little bit about what's in the movie.
Now, here's the thing. It's the kind of movie that you don't necessarily look for surprise endings, so it shouldn't be a huge spoiler, but just so you know, he's going to talk about what goes on in the movie, because that's about all we have for tonight, so be warned.
We may shuck and jive between different topics, but this is the first one we're going to hit. So there's a point where the box trolls, whenever they wear a box around their body, and it's kind of their safety thing. When they get scared, they jump into the box, so they just looks like a regular cardboard box, no big deal. And it keeps them safe. They feel comfortable in there. They actually sleep like that, etc. Well, at one point, these guys that are trying to get rid of them use that to their advantage, because then once they do that, you can pick them up and move them. So they picked them up and they moved them in such a thing where they put into this crushing machine. Now, although the box trolls feel very, very safe, if they don't get out of the boxes, which they're not comfortable seeing anybody out of their box or them getting out, they never get out. If they don't move on from what their comfort zone is, that box of safety, they are going to die. Now, I don't want to give it away. I won't let you know. They either get out or they don't. They either end the movie there with all of them in a big gory splatter, or something else happens. So that's what happens there. And I thought, what a great parable for stepping outside your comfort zone. If you really want to live your life, if you really want to move beyond, you're going to have to get out of what you think is safe, what you think is, at the very least, even what you think you want to do. Like when I was setting this up, I got stuck with my Bluetooth was not working. For some reason, my computer just went, nope, you don't have Bluetooth anymore. The devices are connected on here, but you can't find a way to turn them on. So I went and put on the headset, and I'm like, this is really uncomfortable. And I remembered I had another earbud in the truck, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and get it. So that was me getting out of my normal thing of doing, so that we could move on with the show. And Charles just sitting there going, dude, really, dude, come on, put on just you can do this.
What was funny about all that, though, is that you called me. You sent me a text earlier in the day, say I'll be home between 8 and 9, and we'll do the show. I said, okay, just hit me up when you're ready. And about 7:30, 7:40, somewhere in there, little after 7:30, you tagged me, or you called me. He's like, hey, I'm ready. I'm just waiting on you. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm fixing some stuff. Give me 10 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And then it took an hour for us to get our stuff. And this isn't even show discussion. It's just a matter of getting the tech to work tonight.
Yeah.
It's been very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah. It's a mess, man. It's a mess.
And sometimes your life is like that. Sometimes, and it's just like neither of us could connect. We were both having internet problems. It's like, really? Now? Now when we want to just get this thing done and move on so we can have an evening. Now? Really? You're going to do this now? And Charles was like, well, maybe you just need to do a memory dump. Why don't you turn off the computer and turn it back on? So I restarted it, and then all of a sudden it was like going, nope, there's no wireless. Nope. So I was going to go and find out if something wrong with the wireless, and I talked to Christy, and she's watching Netflix. She goes, I got wireless. Woo! Computer. So I figured it out, and here we are. I don't know. Maybe this is not so much a Success Freak show as us kvetching about, our lives are so hard, and they're not. These are nerd world problems. I'm sorry.
Nerd world problems?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought nerd world problems is I stood in line all night to see Guardians of the Galaxy, and they sold out right before I got in there.
Did that really happen?
No, I don't stand in line for movies. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I remember when the new Star Wars movies were coming out, people were like, oh, you're going to have to wait forever. No. You go during the day, and there was like, there's no line.
Yeah. Now they have Fandango, so you're all good. So, if you'd like to give us a sponsorship, like Fandango could, if they wanted to. You can catch us over at successfreaks.com. It's where we have the podcast, blogs, videos, all that stuff. Much more upbeat and entertaining episodes than tonight. Of course, you can email us, contact@successfreaks.com. We'd love to hear from you. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/successfreaks. And check us out at patreon.com/successfreaks because we'd love to get your help. Stay tuned. We'll come back with something more entertaining coming up next.
That was awesome. See, not bad.
Oops. Where's Darth Vader? All right,
I'm calling it Box Trolls Parables with a plural because we'll have other parables we'll talk about or other stuff we'll talk about. So we're not locked into this.
Okay. All right. We can talk about, I guess, moving or I don't know. What do you want to throw in? You're talking about being comfortable, being out of your comfort zone and stuff there. I don't know.
Yeah, we can do that. You also said you had a listener email.
Oh yeah, it's in the notes.
Are we gonna wait on that?
No, we can pull that up this time. That's a good thing to go into. It's under.
Did I just get rid of it?
No, it's under listener mail right before segment 1. We have a section that says listener mail.
Okay.
I'll copy it into section 2. Just hold on.
Yeah.
And it's Chris. I don't know why he didn't sign his name. It's Chris. There. Let me pull up the email. Hold on. It's a Chris that used to work with us and help us out, Chris. He did a little bit of coding, then got super busy because he got a new job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, like, what is his freaking name? Dang it.
I think his name is Kind Regards.
Yeah, I know, right? I didn't really think about it.
Wait. It's like a TH name, wasn't it? You know this is live. Hi, Chris. Hey, Chris.
Yeah, he's not watching. Come on, Google. Do what I want. We can just say Chris if we need to. Meyer. Chris Meyer. I didn't think about the name because it's all over the email. And then when I pasted it, I was like, oh, wait. I didn't have it there. Okay. So we can start with this. You can read this because I'll read the question. I've got 8:59 on the clock. What do you have? You ready?
Yeah. Let me give me a second. Box Trolls is all one word. All right, go ahead. Want me to? Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna do marker time. You bring it in, then you can read the email.
No, you want me to read the email?
Yeah, I want you to read the email because I'm gonna read the question. It's a long question in the third section.
All right. Let me get back to that then. Sorry. And I'm gonna have to make it bigger. And Ariel 14. Okay, good. Yep.
All right. So we're gonna get marker time, and you're gonna go marker time.
Welcome back, everybody, to Success Freaks, where we are having a show about our little Box Trolls parables. We are now in section 2 of our episode, and right now we have a listener mail. So I'm going to read that for you. Hey, Success Freaks, I'm glad to see that you're still going strong. I've been listening to your recent podcast about handling life changes, and they've been a big help since I just accepted a new job. It was a difficult decision to make. Since I've become familiar with my current role, today marks my 3-year anniversary with the company. Over the past few weeks, I came to accept the fact that problems that were driving me away from the company were unlikely to be solved. Without going into too much detail, a large portion of the team, including management, is simply too used to making quick fixes instead of looking at the bigger picture. It made things very frustrating for me. I really wanted to make lasting improvements to the products I was maintaining and the company culture, I'm looking forward to starting the next phase of my career, but it would be difficult to leave the team I've built a good relationship with over the years. With any life change, there are pros and cons, but I'm confident that I made the right decision, not only for myself, but also for my family. Thanks for being there to help me with this change. I look forward to more shows, and I wish you all the best. Kind regards, Chris Meyer. Chris! So good to hear from you again, and glad that you're listening to the show. As always, this fits perfectly in our Box Trolls parables. I mean, here's something that he had actually helped form the team, or was the driving force behind that. And he had to really think out of his box, out of the security that he had built around him when things were just not in keeping with his own level of integrity that he wanted to pursue. So this is an example of somebody who's like, you know what, this is obviously me needing to move on to something else because you have chosen a different path. This very thing that I have created has gone a different direction than my own personal integrity will allow me to stick with. You know, he's obviously holding himself to a higher standard and wanted to help the company hold itself to a higher standard, but he was unwilling to do so, so he moved on. He got out of that box.
You know, sometimes comfort can be what you can take with you. Going through the move from last week to this week, it's a lot of stuff, man. From last Tuesday on, my wife has taken van loads of stuff to the new house each night, and then Saturday was the big day, and we ended up instead of spending about 6 or 7 hours like we anticipated because of different events and the lack of people to help that we thought we were going to get. It ended up being about 12 to 13 hours. And then Sunday was more stuff, and Monday. I mean, it's been a constant arrangement. What I found in all of this was helped us adjust and help the kids adjust to the change is bringing some of that comfort with us. The first thing I did was make sure we had internet so that the kids could play on their tablets and on the Xbox. The Xbox had our TV on it, you know, our Hulu and Netflix and those kind of things. So then the second thing we did is, of course, had the TV and Xbox set up for them. And then as we moved big stuff in, we moved in our couch and our beds instantly. Now, we weren't able to put the kids' bed frames together as quickly as we liked, but my wife and I, we don't have a bed frame. We've never liked one. So our bed just went in, got set up, got made up, and I found even in the first night of sleeping in a brand new place, and there's a whole lot more behind the story than I can go into it, but why we're uncomfortable here. But there's a lot of discomfort where we are. But having the bedroom set up essentially the same, you're waking up the next morning, it felt decent, it felt good because we brought some comfort with us. In our situation, we didn't have a choice. We had to go to a new place, and any new place is going to throw us off, especially the one we're in now. And while there are lots of great benefits that you're going to start hearing me talk about and see possibly throughout the rest of this year as we do Success Weeks, there's definitely adjustment periods. But having the couch and the TV set up, it's our couch, it's comfortable, it's familiar. Our bed, comfortable, familiar. Having the internet so we can get on our laptops like we're used to or watch some TV like we're used to. That's important, and I found that with jobs too. You know, not every new job is 100% new. You bring experiences with you, and you find ways to be comfortable in what you do.
Yeah, I think that every time I move somewhere, it's one of the things that I need to do is set out some of those things that remind me of it's kind of like marking your territory. This is my place. And if you live a nomadic lifestyle, whether that's physically moving from place to place or even if you're doing some changes in your own life, if you can bring something with you from your life and set it out and mark your territory, you're going to have a lot more comfort in this new area. I think that a lot of these changes that are happening in our lives, they're there to keep us growing, and there really are opportunities for us. You know, just like with the parable of the box trolls, you know, they needed to develop into something else. They needed to get out of their box in order to save their lives. Eventually what happened was they found a way. They were integrated into the human community as well, and everybody lived happily ever after, blah, blah, blah. But that wouldn't have happened if they had not moved on. The same thing with Chris here. If he had stayed with there, he would have gotten progressively more and more frustrated.
Or he would have changed. He would have changed to be like the people that he didn't want to be like. He would have gone with quick fixes instead of long-term pictures. So, I mean, that can change you.
Yeah, but I think that he would have resented that. And whether he stayed there and didn't do anything and just became resentful of himself and the company, I think that would have been bad. You are finding yourself in a new home, and you're going through a definite growing pains with that. However, I think you're going to, as you grow into it, you're going to like it better. You know, any place I go, I like going back to the same places. And you know, when I'm in North Carolina, I live in the same house. When I'm in Arizona, I like living in the same house. This year in Minnesota, we stayed with friends of Christie's, and I was just like, oh no, it's kind of far from the festival. And 2 weeks in, it was like, I love this place. I love where I'm at. I love the people I'm with. It's great. So there's that adjustment period. And if you can bring something with you, you have to make a big change in your life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to bring some of your own talent, some of your own skills, some of your own personality into it. The same thing with Chris. You know, even in the Box Troll movies, towards the end, a lot of them were still wearing some of the boxes. There were a couple of them that didn't, that went without them, and they were just in their cute little underwear or whatever. But you know, you're gonna adapt to the changes and make it your own. Whatever this new level is that you're leveling up to, you're gonna make it your own. So if you can look at these challenges as opportunities for you to grow, even though you can't see the growth, even though it just seems like one big hassle. Oh, this seems like such a big hassle that I have to move from this house to this. This is a house where my kids grew up, and now I've got to be over here. This is such a big hassle. This job that I'm in, I've set up this team myself, and suddenly it's been usurped from me. If you can look at it as an opportunity to keep growing and thriving and expanding, then you're going to find out. You may find out that it's the best thing for you. It may become the best thing that happened to you, but you got to let it.
Yeah, or you might find out there's tarantulas living there, so you know, be careful.
Yeah, then you get over that fear of spiders.
You know, I should have had you help me move, because the previous tenants did leave a freaking huge 40-gallon terrarium with a live tarantula in it, and it took a couple of days to get them to come and get it the hell out, because that was
wow.
Yeah, that was one of the many things that has set our comfort zone askew in this place. Well, coming up next, we have a listener question that we're going to read and answer here, and it's really about hiding yourself and why do you do that? Why do you hide yourself, even from yourself? If you have questions you would like to send to us, you have comments, you want to tell us we're doing a great job, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear that we're doing a good job, just like Chris told us. So hit us up at contact@successfreaks.com, and we will bring you something awesome next. I know.
So can you hear that you have a little bit of an echo in that room?
Of course. It's concrete, and I haven't put much in it yet.
All right.
So I even mentioned that at the beginning of the show. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm sorry. I missed the jet you sent down to pick me up to send us to the New York studio. I'm sorry I missed that flight.
See, have you been there?
I know, it's all my fault. All right. 9 minutes, 59 seconds on the clock. All right, so we're going to mark our time, and you're going to come in, and then you'll throw the question to me, and I'll read the question.
All right.
All right. Let me get this here. Marker time.
Welcome back to Success Freaks, episode 171. Tonight we're talking about some of our Box Trolls parables that we're sharing with you, and we actually have a question that Charles procured. So, Charles, how about that question?
All right, here's the question. Here's the question that has come our way. Why do I hide my true self from everyone? Okay, I was a very sensitive person. I cared for everything and everyone, hated seeing people hurt, was shy and quiet, and was very weak, both physically and emotionally. People often made fun of me and took advantage of me, even my best friends, so I decided to change. Now, I almost want to stop the email there and talk about that, but we're going to carry on. I just woke up one morning, sick of crying and feeling sad all the time, and so I changed just like that. I grew a thicker skin, I learned to take jokes, and to be an all-around more stable person. And honestly, this kind of sounds like my growing up adventures here. But I grew it too thick and became an insensitive, and there's stars across the word. Yeah, there literally is stars across the word, so thank you for self-censoring. I hate everyone, everything, and even myself. I'm sorry, I hated everyone, everything, and even myself. I hated what I had become, but I couldn't just snap out of it. Little by little, I became a bit nicer until I got where I am today. I'm nice to people I don't know that well, but to people I know well, I am still a horrible stars. We argue all the time, and I still get really upset. But no matter how hard I try not to cry in front of other people, it seems impossible. I feel really sad and hopeless most of the time. I just want to know why, when I look deep down into my heart, I feel nothing, and I hate it. I want to know who I am and what my true feelings are and why I hide them from everyone, including myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It sounds like they've gone from they've done that thing that people tend to do when they try to change, where you go from one end of the spectrum and then you hit it all the way to the other side. Usually you'll bounce back and forth until you finally find that happy medium, which it sounds like he or she has with new people.
I don't know. I disagree, but keep going.
Yeah, but it also sounds like he's got a lot. If he's unloading on people like this, it sounds like he might have a lot of pent-up anger, and he's just releasing it.
Yeah.
So I think that might be one of the problems as well.
I grew up very similar to this story. I was naive, and there's a part of that. And when you say your best friends took advantage of you, no, they didn't. I would say, because I was bullied when I was a kid, I had people that I felt like I was the victim. I felt like that. Making this statement clear, I felt like I was the victim. And I look back and go, no, I just never did anything for myself. Not once back then. I never took care of myself. I had a big heart, and I wanted to help people. Same thing. I didn't want to see people hurt, blah, 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 blah. But I never got taught steps to do things to actually help other people. I never got taught steps to take care of myself. So I ended up just being this big pile of mush that was always upset. So I did the same thing. When I moved from one place to another, I swore I was never going to be bullied again. And I got a thick skin, but I became a mean bully is what I became. And it was controlling. And those of you who have followed me in radio for a while now, even Mordant, who's known me for a while, I mean, the running joke can be, I have to control things sometimes. I'm much, much better now. And, of course, even when Mordant met me, I was still dealing with that. And there were running jokes about being a control freak and that kind of thing. But I got to tell you what the situation is, and this is where I disagreed with Mordant's analysis. I didn't swing back and forth until I found the happy medium. And maybe there are people who do that. But what really was happening is I went from one extreme of just mush to the other extreme of you can't mess with me and I can destroy you. And there was a turning point in my life where I made the decision I just want to watch the world burn. And so the core issue was I wasn't dealing with myself. I wasn't dealing with the damage. I still wasn't learning the steps it took to truly be okay with myself and be okay with people, to actually understand the feelings I was having. Trauma happened. I imagine trauma happened to this person too. I mean, I had some major trauma in my life that scarred me, that took me a while to deal with. And what got me to change is dealing with it, dealing with anger. We've told the story on Success Freaks a long time ago, so for the radio listeners, you can go back and listen to it. I'll give it to you very, very quickly. I was an angry person, but I was in denial about being angry. And it wasn't until my wife, who I loved very dearly, told me I was an angry person, and then I got it confirmed by a friend, and then I started dealing with stuff. The whole thing of I'm nice to people I don't know, no, I get that. It's because they're nowhere near you. You have the wall up. You have the defenses up. They're nowhere near you, so you're nice to them. But the people who are close, they get the burning fire because that's all you have inside of you all the time, because you're constantly, you don't even want to look at yourself. When you say you look deep down in your heart and you feel nothing, no, you have blinders on. And I'm talking from experience. I won't just flat out say, no, you have blinders on. When you look inside and you don't see anything, it's because you don't want to. You have to start dealing with issues little by little by little, and that's where you'll start dealing with the emotions. Hopefully you have really good friends who can survive you doing this, because it can be a hard, hard process. My wife survived it, my best friend survived it, but a lot of other people didn't, including my parents at one point. I mean, there was a 2-year hiatus while I dealt with this stuff where they didn't talk to me or I didn't talk to them, whichever you want to say. So, I mean, I'm with Mordant on the fact that there's definitely other issues going on, and there's a lot for you to deal with, but you take it one little step at a time.
Yeah, I would almost say to this person, if you can, seek some professional help. And I'm not being cavalier about that. I'm not making a joke. You're not so broken that, oh no, you need that much help. It's not that at all. Your closest friends are the people that you're unloading on, so you're not going to be able to talk to them and take their counsel as well. So I would suggest that you actually find some professional help, somebody that you can respect, somebody who's going to call you on your BS, and when they do, you're going to be able to listen to them and go, I'll try that. And they'll give you, they'll be able to point out what you're doing, and they're going to give you some good pointers on what you should do next.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they don't take it personal, and that's the thing. No matter how much I love my wife and she loved me, no matter how many times I've tried to help her, and I've been able to help her in the past, there's just some times, because we're human beings, that I have to not help her, because you can't help but take things personal sometimes, and that's a natural human thing. Is as I was dealing with some of my stuff, I took it out on her. So of course she's going to take it personally, because my actions are attacking her. Whereas a professional, they don't do that. They don't take it personal. You can yell, you can scream, and it's like, okay, you're paying me for this. Or maybe you get a situation where you don't have to pay for it. I got into a situation. I sought help. I got professional help, and it was a Christian counseling place that let me pay what I could afford, because I was dirt broke, and instead of having to pay big, full permanent rates, I got to pay, what I could, and they helped me, and I helped them by giving in trade, and worked on computers for them and that kind of thing. So absolutely, I'm 100% with Morta. Is you got to get some help.
One of the good things about this is showing that you can switch from one to the other. And be selective about it, even if it's subconsciously. Showing that you're able to go from one extreme to the other shows that you can change. So there's definitely hope for you here. You just have to learn to use your mutant powers for good. You have to learn to control the fire within you, and once you do that, you're going to have a stellar life. You're already having a stellar life. It's an adventure you're on.
And for this process, you need to keep your box on. I mean, you do have to keep the thick skin, and you have to keep the safety around you, because if you try to deal with all of it at once, you're going to be overwhelmed, and you're going to see the world's out to get me, and you're going to be worse. It's much like a scab. If you pick the scab, more than likely you're going to bleed, especially if it's a burn. There's reasons why people are in special rooms when they get burned, because of all the infection, and it's just so tender, it could kill you if you got a little dirt in the burn. It could literally kill you. Not instantly. It's not like you fall over.
Right.
But it is a danger. So what I'm saying is, you do, in this situation, keeping with the box troll thing that we have, you got to keep your box on and just deal with little things one at a time.
Yep. What he says here in the last sentence or so, I just want to know why, when I look deep down in my heart, I feel nothing. And I hate it. I want to know who I am and what my true feelings are, and why I hide them from everyone, including myself. There's something that is, whatever that issue is, whether it's a memory that you're suppressing or feelings that you're suppressing, the fact that you can't access them. I think whatever that is probably where the rage is bubbling up from.
Mm-hmm.
So that is definitely, again, seeking the professional help on that is going to help you get to the root of your problem, and then be able to release it, let go of it, and you're going to be able to, at least you'll know why it's there. And once you do that, it won't have power over you anymore.
Absolutely. If you've got a question, we'd love to help answer it. We'd love to give you some direct advice. If we can, hit us up, contact@successfreaks.com. We're going to come back with how to level up your life.
Nice.
And marker. All right, 10:49 on the clock. Let's see, 10:49. All right. You ready?
Yeah. Let me get a.
Let me scroll down. Okay. All right. We'll do marker and time. So marker time.
Welcome back to Success Freaks. We are talking tonight about box trolls parables. Parables that we started off with the first one based on the Box Trolls movies, and then we moved on to a couple of other things. But we are now in the level up section. Those of you who need to move beyond, who get out of the safety of your box, get out of that comfort zone, one of the best ways is it's all about your perception again. Whatever you're dealing with, the struggles that you're facing, if you can look at them like they're just an opportunity for you to move on. Sometimes it's an opportunity for you to work on something that you need to deal with. Sometimes it's something that you need to stand up for yourself and face whatever a negative stimulus is. Or sometimes it's just you need to be able to GTFO because your life ain't great there anymore. The job, unfortunately, sometimes a relationship and things like that. You get to have an awesome life, but you have to stand up for it. And sometimes you're the person who has to learn how to be nicer to people. You know, so maybe that's the pill you have to swallow, and that's not easy. Boys and girls, Uncle Morden has faced that plenty of times. Even recently, I have not been the best of people, and I'm working on it, just like you are working on it. And I can either look at this and get bummed out, and I can't do anything right. I'm always, or I can look at it as an opportunity of look, this is shining a bright light on something I need to work on, and I can either shrink back into the safety of my box, or I can move on, get that whatever help I may or may not need, or at least take that life lesson and go, all right, I need to learn to do that better. And I will laugh at myself and move on. Same thing that you can do. So it's all about your perception, and if you can handle that and take everything that comes at you with a grain of salt and go, this is just helping me level up my life, you're going to be able to do it a lot faster.
Yeah, I agree. And it ultimately comes down to you, period. Why are you nice to people you don't know? Because you're not nice to yourself, and you know you. You fill in the blanks. Why is this person triggering that? I mean, Morden always says, why are you getting mad about this? And it comes down to what is going on in your life. I found I had a friend here this week, and she ended up having some issues of her own. But it literally came smack dab on Saturday when I'm in the middle of dealing with my move. And the honest truth was, I never actually said these words, and I didn't need to, I don't think. But the honest truth is I don't have time to care. I just can't. It can't be my problem today. And that's a huge change for me because, especially growing up the way I did, I don't like to see people hurt. I always like to help others be awesome. And I have numerous times hurt myself and or my family, not physically ever, but in energy and finances and effort and blood, sweat, and tears. I've hurt myself to help somebody else out instead of just going, I just can't do it. And they weren't asking me for help, not truly. And that was a very interesting thing because it comes down to you. Is it your problem or is it somebody else's? And it's honestly always your problem. What does Dr. Joe Vitale say in Zero, help me out more than Zero what?
Zero Limits.
Zero Limits. It's if you take ownership for everything. So if a problem presents itself to you, you take ownership for your part of that problem. And my taking ownership of my friend's problem was, it's not my problem. That was the ownership of it, going, I don't have a role in this. I will help you if I can, when I can. But right now I have to focus on this. And like I said, I never had to verbalize that. I never said anything. They weren't asking. And it helped me out greatly. I mean, it does come down to you. It came down to the box trolls to figure out how to get out of the box. It came down to Chris to figure out how to get into a new job. It came down to the anonymous emailer who needs to know why you hide your feelings from yourself. I literally pictured at one point in my life, once I realized there's just this clarity that came at this one moment in my life where I just realized I have issues. And I pictured this ginormous, huge iron doors that only like super giants could push open, and all my demons were behind that door. And I didn't even want to look what was behind that door. But at that moment I realized I have problems. The person who wrote in the question still has an inkling that they have problems, but they haven't had that clarity of, oh no, I've got some serious problems. And I cannot open that door to tackle them because I'll get overwhelmed and die. But I can start dealing with what caused the problems and that kind of thing. And you have to have that reality moment. You have to realize that it's you. Why is everybody around you having a bad day? Because you are. Why is everybody having a good day? Because you are. I mean, it's not that simple, but for the radio show and for what we're overall trying to communicate as a mindset, it's that simple. It's you. What are you doing?
Right, and it doesn't have to be hard. And any of these answers that we give you can be just that easy. It's up to you to do it. You know, we talk about, you know, change your perception, change your mind, change your life. It's like, oh, come on, I have all these problems, and you know, they're coming at me. How can it be just changing my mind? You'd be surprised how much where you're having a bad day and everything seems to be pooping on you, and you suddenly just turn around and go, you know what? I'm going to enjoy my bad day because I'm still healthy, I'm still in it, I'm still doing what I want to do. I'm going to enjoy my bad day because when I'm 90, I'm going to look back and wish I could come back to this day because what a great day, that, you know, what a great moment to be able to relive this stuff that I'm doing. That will change. It changed my attitude. Well, I live a great life anyways, so I'm able to do that when I'm on stage, going, "Oh, what an awful day! It's hot. It's you know what? I'm gonna wish I could come back to this when I'm 90, to this day when I got rained out and everything, and it changed my attitude." That day, and I'm smiling. My guy, you know, both of my partners are in the rain, going, and I'm like, so what? So
Sure.
what? So sometimes change your mind, change your life. Change your perception, and you'll change how things are going. If you stop thinking that you're such a victim, you stop being a victim. If you'll stop trying to hide inside your box, you're going to start reaching outside your box, and then the miracles will start happening. And then the new life will start happening. And then the new you will start happening. And then you're going to start living that adventure. And you're going to go, aha, aha.
I want to totally, and I understand what you mean, but I have to make the mocking a little bit anyway. So I'm totally going to come to you when you're 60 or 70 or 80, and you're like, life is great. You know, this is great. Like, really? Would you love to go back to the rainy day on the stage right now? And you're like, nope. But it still changed my mind because it changed my reality. So I get what you're saying, but I can't help. I'm like, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to remember this. But today, you know, the studio, I told Morton this off air, but I've worked on the studio for 2 or 3 days now over some time. It just was not coming together, and today's show day. I have 2 different shows I do on this day. I have to get it done. And about an hour and a half before, I was actually 10 minutes before I was supposed to have a meeting, and about an hour and a half before my first show, everything was going well. Things were working. All of a sudden, something bumped. And it went nuts. I mean, loud, horrible screeching sounds, the computer locked up. It just, in essence, blew up. Not literally blew up. It just went, I was like, oh my goodness. And I almost texted you more than, and I cannot remember the phrase that was in my head. But it's similar to, you know, if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. Yeah. But it was something along the lines, if I didn't have problems, I wouldn't have anything right now. But I didn't get angry. I didn't get depressed. I just went, it has to be done. There's no putting this off. There's no not getting it done unless something actually melted, and then there's still ways to make things happen. This has to get done, and I have been blessed. I mean, pretty much everything you can see in the studio has been given to me on camera, and the stuff you can't see in the studio, very little of it I actually paid for. Most of it has been given to me, and I have a very nice setup. I have a very nice opportunity here, and I have the ability to back up my backups. So if something goes wrong, I can figure it out, and that's just kind of what I held on to today. So I never got ill, never got upset. I didn't go, hey, it's raining on me, woohoo! But that came out more mocking than I intended. But yeah, your mentality 100% affects everything.
Yeah.
So at that, and with that, why don't you tell them where they can mentality change us? Or, I don't know. I tried to do a smooth transition. I failed horribly. Tell them where they can find us.
If you're liking what you're hearing right now, if you're liking what we're giving out to you, you can go to successfreaks.com. All of our social media is there. You can have our Facebook runs through there. Our Twitter runs through there. You can link to even Google+. Those of you 3 or 4 people who are on Google+, it runs through there. All social media things are successfreaks.com. Also, if you like what we're giving out to you for free and you want a little bit more, we do have a book out, Success Freaks Guide to Dream Hunting. It is it's available on a Kindle app. You don't even have to have a Kindle. It's a Kindle app, and I think it costs $4.99. Successfreaks.com/books or book, one of the two. And so check that out, and you get a little bit more meat from the Level Up guys.
Yeah, and of course we're on iTunes, and check us out on Patreon. If you'd like to give back a little bit, you can help support us on a Patreon.
All right, I think that's it. This has been fun. This has been fun. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have. You know, Charles got to try out his new studio. I got to try out my new attitude. You know, it all works. It's all fun for us. So this has been our Mordant Mon.
And I am we're exterminators of justice. We exterminate justice, Bear.
That's awesome, dude. See the movie, you'll understand. Child Success Freaks. Boom, baby.
Right on the money. Look at you. Marker. All right, I'm gonna put 10 minutes. I was quickly, as you were wrapping it up, I Googled box troll quotes.
Nice.
I just scanned down till I found one that sounded funny. Let's see, 10 minutes on the clock. I think this is totally just gonna be riffing, this part. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna do marker, time, I'll lead us in, so on and so forth. So, all right, let's see. Marker, time. And welcome to On Beyond Success Freaks, where we go bigger, better, more into the topics of the evening. I'm Charles McFall. Along with me is our Mordant Mon. And a lot of times we actually do have something we want to go deeper on in the topic, something we just felt like we didn't dig out. Tonight, I think it's just we are tired, our brains are mush. But we still want to talk to each other. We haven't been able to catch up. So we're going to kind of riff here and talk about things that are going on. And you know, hopefully you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it for the next 10 minutes or so. As Mordant has...
Or if you don't, you know, just turn the sound down.
So I guess I'm on a true green screen here. If you're looking on the Google Plus or the YouTube page even, I've got a green concrete wall behind me. And actually, I believe will get painted sometime this week. My father-in-law, who actually has been an amazing dude, been an amazing help this whole time. Yeah, I'm just going to take a minute to be gracious or give gratitude right now. Is my wife, as any child has with their parents, she has her issues with her dad, and there's a lot of history there that is not mine to share. But in the last couple of years, he's really, anytime we need anything, he's been there, and it's been a hard journey to get into this house. Because when we were first married, we needed a lot of help, and we were always asking for money. And I remember one of the last times we asked for money from him because we just could not pay our bills, she was crying. I mean, it just killed her to ask, and it made him cry because he just wants to help her out. He's got money, he's got nothing much to do with it, so he wants to use it to help people, to help us. But it's hard. It's an ego thing. It sucks to have to keep going back to your dad and asking for money. And at that point in time, I determined I'm changing life, period. And I did. And for the life of my daughter, who just turned 8 this year, we changed life. We paid bills. And I think it actually made him feel useless because we didn't need him anymore. We wanted him. We invited him to stuff. We were around him, don't get me wrong. We were interactive, but he was able to help us in a way, only way he knew how during those times. So we got to the point we didn't need the help. And getting here where I lost my job last year, money's been tight, we've gone through a bankruptcy, and that's oxymoron in life, right? I'm gloriously poor. My bankruptcy went through like that. I mean, the guy looked at it and went, yeah, okay, you're good, stamped it. You know, we're broke, yet I have to come up with $2,000 to pay the lawyer. I have to come up with deposits to get into a new house. I have to move. I mean, there's just so much to being broke, it's not even funny, dude. And so we've had to return and ask him for favors and help, and he's just, not only did he step up and he never crossed his boundaries. He came up and he said, "You just let me know what you need." And I've not told anybody this. I haven't even told you this morning. The van, the one car we depend on that my wife drives, just overheated the other day, stopped working, and the radiator cracked. Basically, is what happened. And that was $600 to replace that. And the only working car that we have in the middle of trying to get ready for a move and everything else. And he just paid for it. And he just waited for us to ask and say, this is what we needed. But beyond that, and he's always done it graciously, and I've told him thank you a dozen times, he and Angie were the only two people outside the family, my wife and I, and him and Rock Girl, our world-famous Rock Girl, Angie. She came, and she drove 2 hours to be down here. And they came and helped us move all day long. And he paid for the rental truck. And he was just always on top of things going, do I need to help you with this? Do I need to help you with that? Without ever sounding egotistical or making me feel like I'm less of a person. And I think the person that's me too, going, no, I'm doing everything I can. This is part of what I have to do for my family. And I just want to be grateful for everything he's done. And then what started me on this is the studio you see behind me, the green, and you really can't see it all that clear. It probably looks a lot nicer on camera than it is. It's a bit of a dungeon in the basement. But he's going and spending all the money it takes to buy the paint. And he's going to come. He used to paint for a living. He's going to come and paint everything in our house for us, and help it make it ours. And that's just a huge thing. And to have something like that in your life is awesome. And you should always appreciate something like that and say thank you when you can. I've made it a point to say thank you a bunch of times to him over the course of all this.
Yeah, definitely appreciate the people around you. Your friends, your family members, not just for what they can do for you, but also for who they are. Take a moment to do that. We've had a lot of deaths this year. I mean, people that I know, there's at least 3 off the top of my head I can think of, and I'm not even talking about Robin Williams and Joan Rivers. I'm talking about personal friends, younger than me, who have passed on. A very dear friend of ours passed on this recently. So, and I'm not going to get into that, but if you can, if there are people who you appreciate, whether it is for what they do or just for who they are, let them know. Tell them thank you. Send them a gift. Send them buy them candy. I don't know. Unless they're diabetic, then don't do that. But take a moment to appreciate, or just send good vibes. Just think about them and smile. That's helpful too. Send something, leave a comment on Facebook. Don't just hit a like. Leave a comment going, hey, thanks for being you. Thanks for you brighten my day. And if that happens to be Charles and I, and you want to do that for us, we'll take it. We'll take it because we're those love hogs. We'll take it. So that's what I wanted to lead into with that.
And how do you attract people like that? Well, you have to be giving yourself, and you have to be. Well, no, let's jump that. We've talked about help others be awesome a lot more. Let's talk about the difficulty it is to accept help, to be gracious about it. I'm definitely core from one that says, I never tell anybody my birthday until this year. I started going, no, it's my birthday. Send me stuff. Be happy with me, that kind of thing. Because I had a hard time accepting help. I had a hard time accepting gifts, and it's the weirdest thing is I could ask for help. Like if and Morgan will tell you, I was like, hey, you came over the first one, I don't know, a little while ago when the first time you came back in the season. I said, hey, I have this massive desk. I want to rearrange the studio and basically give you your own space to work. And I said, I didn't even say, can you help me? Will you help? I said, come on, grab this desk, and I'll ask for help. And I'll take it in that situation. But if you were to come to me during actually did help me out during the one of the lowest points of my bankruptcy, but before I learned to be gracious about it, if you'd just gone and sent me something or tried to help me or just got me I just had a problem doing that. How do you learn to be gracious about not only accepting help but enjoying that people are helping you?
Right. Sometimes it's something that I'm working on is working on receiving.
That's the word.
Whether it's just help from other people, or it's just what life has to offer me, or getting out of my own way of well, no, I can do this all myself because that's my value. We have a friend of ours who is Ronnie Rocks, who her value is what she can do for people. And that's not necessarily true. The value is who you are, and that's enough of a gift. You don't have to be able to do something. You should be able to receive as well, because that's somebody who's offering you a gift. And if you poo-poo that, if you put that down, you say, no, I don't need that. It's kind of a slap in the face. And how dare you? Come on. Yeah. Somebody wants to do something nice for you, let them do it. And I'm not saying take advantage of them. You don't want to do that. You don't want to become, be perceived as just being so needy because you every 5 minutes you've got your hand out. That's not what we're talking about. But if you're listening to the show, chances are that's not who you are anyways. Yeah. But you may have a problem receiving from people. No, I can do this all myself. I'm a success freak. I can do this all myself. Well, sometimes you need to learn sometimes it's part of God's plan to let the healers heal. Sometimes it's part of God's plan to let the workers work, the laborers labor, to help you out, because in letting them do that, you're helping them out.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's the God, the divine, you know, whatever you want to say. Sometimes it's part of the plan to open up and receive. So learn to do that. And if you need to get out of your comfort zone, step out of your box in order to do that, then do that. Learn another way of being, because a lot of this life is about the community that we have. It's not just about the work that you do. Because when you're old and gray and on your deathbed, you're going to look back and go, oh, thank God I spent those extra 8 hours working on that dissertation I needed to work on. No, you're going to remember the community that you had. So if you allow people to, if you've received from people, you allow people to help you out, that enhances the community. And I don't know if you can tell it, this is something that I've been working on. So I'm not just stuck behind my computer. So there you go. That's what I think about that. There's my box troll parable.
Well, I want to throw one last example of this. Recently, by recently I mean last week, my wife and I knew it was going to be difficult with the move and all. And a friend of ours who actually she's working in the same area you are, Morton. She called and said, "Hey, this is an opportunity for me to work. I'm going to need a place to stay, and would it even be a possibility?" And my wife and I talked about it and said, we're going to have all this new space. So we do have much more space in this house than we did in another one. And she offered to help with the kids and anything else we wanted with the move. And we said, okay, yeah, that'll be fine. And we worked out some details, but at no point in Morton will even tell you, we don't charge for people to live in our house, ever. We don't. Morton comes and stays, and he did not like this rule. I said, don't ever hand me money, not ever. He wants to take care of himself. He wants to make his own way. So I said, there's a Cookie Monster. If you want to do anything, you just put it in there, and he does. And whatever I can do to make him comfortable. For me, it's not about that. And this friend, she knows that rule too. And she waited till I was a little inebriated. And this was just a success freak moment, honestly, for me. But she waited till I was a little inebriated, kind of hit around the corner. And I turned around, she just popped some money at me. It was a good deal of money. I was like, whoa. And I felt like it was way too much. I felt like it was a lot. But the Success Freaks training kicked in, everything that we've been talking about that I believe and I live. Because, your true self comes out when you're not in control of things, when you're tired, when you're drunk, whatever, under stress it comes out. And I just went, I'll just say thank you. And I meant it. I said thank you, and I took it and I put it in the Cookie Monster, and she was happy. Because it's not about what I'm doing for her. For her at that point, about what she could do for her, either for herself or for us. And I think it's a little of both. And you have to say thank you to those things. Because, like Morton, you were saying, if you just poo-poo on it, how dare you? How dare you put down what somebody's trying to do to make their own way, or to be gracious about acknowledging what you're doing for them. It's important to take care of people too. With that being said, you any last thoughts to put on it, sir?
No, I think we covered it all. I think that's great.
It's kind of like Pokemon, except with mayonnaise. We covered it all. I don't know. Syrup. I could have said syrup. I don't know why I said mayonnaise.
We're late. It's tired. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. All right, for Success Freaks, I'm Charles McFall. That's R. Morton Vaughn.
Whoop, whoop. Ciao, Dream Hunters. Boom, baby.
All right.
Stop. Reset.
Kill that. All right, can we just skip the teaser tonight? I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
All right, are you going to be able to get those files to me fairly?
I'm gonna turn on the thing now. I'm gonna put stuff in there. I'll leave my computer up. So
I'm gonna hang with you for a minute. Let me close this one. I don't need this on the bandwidth anymore. Until you can tell me like an idea of how much time it's going to take to get up to blah blah blah, upload it.
Well, it's uploading 2 files now, and it keeps saying 3 hours. So
that means
I don't know if it'll grab this one. I don't know if it'll grab this one, and
it probably won't. So what I'll do is you just do that. You upload. I'll check on it in an hour or two, and if it's not here, I'll just get up a little early in the morning and take care of it.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Stop the project.
I guess you should stop the broadcast.
And